open up tonight with prayer and pledge. Prayer will be led by Councilwoman Seals, Jacinta Seals, and the pledge will be led by myself.
Bow your heads if you would like. Father God, we thank you today for this day. And God, we ask you to secure us, God, to make us safe. Continue to bless the borders of Saginaw and its citizens. We thank you for the past, the present, and the future, and our leadership and our citizenship. We ask you to lead us and guide us from here on out, and we ask you to keep us focused and keep us safe here in Saginaw, Michigan. In the name of Jesus, I pray everyone say amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Young.
Present.
Councilmember Seals.
Present.
Councilmember Balls.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Present.
Councilmember Ostash.
Present.
Councilmember Braddock.
Present.
Councilmember Wiggins.
Present.
Councilmember Hammond.
Present.
And Mayor Moore.
Present.
You have all members present.
Good evening again. I'd like to welcome everyone to this city council meeting. Got a little housekeeping to do. Council members, can you please put your computers as well as your phones on vibrate or silent? Audience, if you could do the same, because we don't want to interrupt anyone when they're speaking. This is a meeting that will be aired on SGTV and also on YouTube and on our Facebook page. We ask that you respect one another, no booing, no clapping, no obnoxious behavior. Again, welcome to the meeting. Madam Clerk, do we have any announcements?
We don't, Mayor. Our first item is a proclamation declaring April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day.
And that will be read by Councilman Young.
City of Saginaw proclamation.
Y'all have to talk loud.
In 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska and is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And trees are renewable resources, giving us paper, wood for our homes, and for our fires. Trees also increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. In 2025, the City of Saginaw Streets section of the Right-of-Way Division also planted 22 trees, pruned 520 trees, and removed 228 trees. Now thereof it be resolved, I, Brenda Moore, Mayor of the City of Saginaw, do hereby proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the City of Saginaw. Furthermore, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of this and future generations. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Saginaw to be affixed this 13th day of April in the year of our Lord 2026. Brenda F. Moore, Mayor, Councilpersons, Priscilla Garcia, Mayor Pro Tem, Michael D. Balls, Eric Braddock Sr., Carly Hammond, Bill Ostash, Jacinta Seals, Heidi Wiggins, and Tobias Young, and Timothy Morales, City Manager.
Do we have anyone here from that we can receive?
Thank you.
Please have words. Please have words.
You did.
Thank you very much for this. I was chosen to come here and receive this, and it's always a great honor to be before you folks, especially when I get to take something like this back to the group. Makes me feel like a hero. I'm just a part of the green team. I won't say I'm any big part of it, but we're a group that is dedicated in the city of Saginaw to trying to make a positive change when it comes to environmental impact here in the city. I didn't have any made statements, but we do have some events coming up. I think we were just talking about that a little bit ago. So I hope to see a few of you there.
Can you just explain what it is so the community knows what you're having? The Green Day?
I'm not on that planning committee, so I have it in my schedule to show up.
Okay.
I am. It's a little embarrassing to admit I'm just the guy that shows up. But I do so with a smile, so that's why I come. But no, that's not a good job at all.
You're fine, you're fine.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you very much.
You're so fine, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, our next item is public hearings.
The purpose of a public hearing is for the public to address council as a whole and for council to hear the comments from the speaker regarding specific actions being requested. Speaker must limit their remarks to the subject of the public hearing. Please state your name and say if you are in support or opposition of the subject of the public hearing. The main speaker, who is the designated speaker, has 10 minutes. Every speaker thereafter has 3 minutes. This is not a question or answer period. So you will not get an answer from us, but you should receive an answer from us. Just not tonight. It's not a talk-back session. Madam Clerk.
The topic of our public hearing is regarding the proposed Clean Water State Revolving Fund Project Planning Document Amendment for the purpose of receiving comments from interested persons.
All right, thanks everybody for having me. I'm here to talk about the Clean Water Revolving Fund Project Plan Amendment. In 2025, a 5-year plan was submitted to the state with a list of projects laid out. And we're coming today to amend the plan. The state requires an amendment be submitted if you want to change anything in that original plan. So the following are the needs of the project portion that we're trying to amend. It's on out at the clean water facility, the wastewater treatment plant, the biosolids portion of it. The existing lime equipment is beyond its useful life, and it lacks redundancy. The current solids handling system does not reduce the amount of volume of solids produced. Future regulations will likely be greater than what they currently are. And the existing solids storage tank out there is deteriorating. It has got the top starting to fall in on it. And there's portions of old biosolids, pieces of the plant that are need work done to them to make them safe. So. So there were several alternatives looked at. Our one that's in the current plan is alternative 2, and that's optimize the existing process. And we're looking to change that to alternative 3A. That's the thermochemical hydrolysis process. Reasons for the selected alternative change are rising cost of O&M for the lime and disposal of the solids produced, and then limited disposal flexibility because of the class of solids. Currently, lime stabilization makes you a Class B instead of Class A. The selected thermal hydrolysis process will give you long-term cost efficiency. It reduces the amount of solids produced, and it gives you, because of that Class A, it gives you flexibility on how you can how and where you can dispose of it. Benefits of that thermal hydrolysis process, like I said, it produces Class A biosolids. It can reduce the amount of solids by up to 50%. It eliminates the lime that you're currently using. It gives you operational flexibility, and it's got a potential for reuse. The estimated cost on the project is $29 million. The city adopted a user rate increase a couple years back with projects included, so this would not have an additional rate increase from what was already approved. And then with the project, we evaluated effects on historical, environmental, and your social economic impacts, and with no adverse effects identified. And then during construction, we will take measures to mitigate the effects on traffic, air emissions, soil erosion, and any restoration will be taken care of and restored. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this public hearing? If you want to speak for the public hearing, you can. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I just have some questions. I've attended some of the water hearings, and they talked about some long-term plans in terms of moving that facility somewhere else as opposed to here. I don't know if that's in your report. And also, if we do anything with water, I've been doing some investigation, and it says that Saginaw citizens pay about $7 per 1,000 use of water. Midland Place, according to AI, paid $2 per 1,000 use of water. I think the township is like $4. Everywhere that we provide water to, they pay less per 1,000 gallons of water than the citizens of Saginaw. And the water's right here. And we have to provide the water out there. Freeland is the same way. Frankenmuth is the same way. We provide water there, but I want to understand why is Saginaw paying more per gallon than other places? And moving forward, again, I've said this before, and I don't mean no harm, but I think we need to share equally, and that'll take the burden off many. But I know there are families' water's being turned off in the city of Saginaw. People with families, and they're going without water because they can't pay the bill. And I think we need to do something about that. But I hope that we can move forward where I don't care what you do with the water, but from Frankenmuth, everybody that we provide water for, we all should pay for it equally. And why, I don't understand. But that's all I want to say. And thank you for your study. And I also will close by saying this. We have been providing water for a long time in this city. We haven't did anything wrong. I think it would be wrong to take that water out of here and move it somewhere else. I think it would be wrong. We have done a good job here, and we like to continue to keep it here, but we do want to distribute the water equally, and we want everybody to pay equally. And that's the only thing I have to offer, and thank you for this time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak to this subject matter?
I believe the water comes from Lake Erie and it's shipped in, all the way from Lake Erie, and it comes to that treatment plant. No, we don't, not Lake Erie. Where's it come from? Lake Huron. Here, well, there you go. And that's been there for how many years? And we're just gonna up and move that? I don't think that's gonna happen. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else who'd like to speak to this subject matter?
Madam Mayor, can I say something?
What?
Can we get someone to explain to us why the citizens of Saginaw are paying more? Can we get that explained to us?
I think
That's
we're
not
really
what the
far
hearing's
off the
about.
topic of the public hearing.
That's
Okay,
not the hearing.
all right. Okay.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak to this subject matter? Final time. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak to this subject matter? I need a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
It's been moved to second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, I'm sorry, who had the second on that motion? Thank you. That takes us to public input.
Speakers, you will remain courteous. As you speak, you have 3 minutes as well. The clerk will call you to the podium. Please, no booing, no clapping, no obnoxious behavior. Madam Clerk.
Our first speaker is Trevor Mahadeo.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, City Council members, great citizens of Saginaw, and thank you for the interest in the public hearings. My name is Trevor Mahadio from 2245 Woodbridge, and council members, I provided a copy of this because I'm going to have to skim through it because it's only 3 minutes. Firstly, a comment to both Streets and Engineering Division for taking a couple of requests from me from since November through all the way through March, recently separate requests, and they followed through to their word and very, very timely responses, so credit to them. That's a compliment to those two departments. My topic today is about, one, a FOIA request system, which is the request for public information, and the follow-up. So I'm here to address two seemingly urgent points. And the first one is, back in November, I suffered a property crime, and upon the follow-up with the police department and trying to follow up with the entire case as far as who was responsible and all that stuff, I had to file a FOIA request back in February. And the first point I wanted to make was, as a victim of the property crime, I was requested to pay for the FOIA. Not a big deal, but some of the costs were for labor costs, for redacting the statements, redacting the body camera footage. That part I wasn't quite understanding, but I paid for it anyway. Upon receiving the FOIA request, I had to take it home to view it because the body camera footage was on a disk. And upon viewing that body camera footage, there were, let's just say, several inconsistencies where we had audio lagging the video by as much as 30 seconds. There was major gaps in the footage. There was 2 files, and there's a major gap, at least a few minutes in between the footage. My concern here is the lag in audio at the beginning of the video could have eliminated vital information, vital evidence, and the gaps in the video, as much as several minutes, seemed a little, at the very least, inept, an inept system, I guess, is what I want to say. My main focus here was, luckily this was only a property crime, but if this was a bodily harm crime, where that camera footage was going to be vital to the case, again, we had vital coverage of this body camera missing, and I provided the City Council with a copy of the updated police report. Well, like I said on the bottom, hopefully you can follow up with me on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Reller Bradley.
First, I want to get evening to Ms. Mary of the City Council and the City Council. I'm here to talk about my property. I live at 1622 South Jefferson, and they gave me a violation on the fence I had brought a lot with 3 houses was on, and they want me to tear it down because they said I went over. I did. My husband and another guy, and then somebody from the city had came by to to measure it to see where my property lines up and stayed at where we cut off at, and they want me to move my fence. And I've been there 50 years, and the fence been up 35 years. And I'm just coming down here to say, all this time, why now? And that's what I want to say.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Carolyn Ulicki.
Good evening. My name is Carolyn Ulicki. I'm 80 years old. I'm a widow. I live on Main Street in the city of Saginaw, and I've been there since 1973, and I have lived in Saginaw most of my life. I cannot believe the blight in this city, on the west side and the east side. But I'm here to talk to you about the house next to me at 1817 Main. I have spent 10 years trying to get the city to do something about that house. It has had 3 owners. The house cannot be repaired. 2 owners found that it was too expensive to repair that house. Now we have an owner that is 3 years behind in taxes and received an extension, has water bills outstanding, has the city mowing the lawn. The lawn only gets mowed when I call the city to get the lawn mowed. I would like to know where my rights are, why I have to look at this, why I have animals in my yard. I cannot go out of my house after dusk because of all the animals that are living underneath the porch of that house, and I'm tired of it. I am tired of it. I have tried working with the city. I have had inspectors out. They all say the same thing. That house should be torn down. The garage, the roof is caving in on the garage. The porch is about to fall down. There's trash. It looks like a jungle in that backyard. Why do I have to live like this? I tried to get my taxes changed, and they said, well, there's nothing we can do, but why don't you move? Why should I have to move? Why can't something be done about that house? I'm tired. Like I said, for 10 years, don't you think it's about time the city takes responsibility and does something about that house? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our next speaker is Jamie Forbes.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, Manager Morales, and staff. I'm here tonight to talk about Ojibwe Island. The last time I spoke on this topic, I raised concerns about disability access, especially for folks like my mom, who depend on vehicle access to meaningfully use the park. Now without Wicks Park Drive, losing access to Ojibwe is hurtful to our neighbors with accessibility challenges. Tonight, I want to shift the focus slightly to a question that I think is more important for all of us to consider. What does success actually look like for this project? To me, success is not just a completed construction plan or a finished roadway, although those are very important. Success is whether the park is being used. And by that measure, Ojibwe Island is not where it used to be. Since the original closure during COVID, usage has dropped drastically, as far as I can tell. We are now about 5 years into the closure to vehicles, and I understand and respect that construction takes time and that closures are sometimes necessary, and that the improvements were much needed. The reality is that this park is no longer part of people's daily habits the way it once was. The portion of users that accessed with their vehicle are no longer using the park, but the loss of users is deeper than that. And the longer that separation continues, the harder it becomes to restore it. And I want to be clear, increased use is not something to fear, it is something to value. A busy park means trash cans that are filled up and need to be serviced more often. It means the grass is worn down and familiar gathering spots. It means that occasionally loud music will take place and that there's a mess left behind after a celebration. It sometimes even means that people push the limits of where they should drive or gather. But those things are not signs of failure. They are signs of life. They are signs that a public space is doing exactly what it is meant to do, serve the public. If increased use means more maintenance and more investment of tax dollars, then I want to say clearly that I support that. That is a worthwhile investment in a community asset. We closed the park because the road was in poor condition. That road will soon be repaired, thank goodness. And the time for waiting, studying, and delaying has run its course, in my opinion. It is time to restore vehicle access to Ojibwe Island and bring this park back into the everyday lives of the community that it was built to serve. Imagine driving around the island and smelling the barbecue of a family gathered to enjoy the weather, an older guy buffing his prized possession, a vintage Camaro, a dad and kid fishing on the docks, a teenager's skateboarding. That's the success that we should strive for. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Stephanie Curtis.
Good evening, Saginaw City Council members. My name is Stephanie Curtis, and I'm with the Boys and Girls Club of the Great Lakes Bay Region. I wanted to just talk about our groundbreaking on Friday being way more than a construction project and a reason to wear a really cool hard hat and have a shovel in your hand. It's an investment in our young people and in our community, and I want to thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for your attendance. It was very good to see you there. The Boys and Girls Club appreciates the leadership and support and the unwavering belief in the youth from the City Council and the City of Saginaw. Projects like our teen center at the Boys and Girls Club over on Fortney, they require vision, partnership, and a commitment of time. None of that would be possible without the support of the City Council, and of the entire community. So echoing the words of our staff on Friday, our teen center will provide a safe place for the teenagers and opportunities for growth, leadership, and connection with the city. And speaking of those connections, you guys are helping make those happen for our youth. And while we're waiting on a final timeline for the construction of that teen center, I want to invite anyone on the City Council or the City of Saginaw to participate in our member-led podcast to really help them learn about how the city works and how decisions are made, and to help them make local government relatable to them and inspire that civic engagement and leadership. And then also the flyer you have to find our former club members. So one of the things we are doing is really seeking out our alumni and then re-engaging them in the community. So there is a QR code to follow to have those alumni members kind of gather with us. So as we work towards that same vision and a stronger Saginaw and a stronger youth base in Saginaw, I want to just say thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Our final speaker is Melanie Velasco.
Hey, Melanie Velasco here. First of all, let's take a moment for the loss of lives we've had in the last 3-4 days. Friday, Saturday, there was 3 gun incidences where people have died, and a 15-year-old was found dead in an abandoned house. Light's got to be taken care of. You need any help boarding up those houses so that no more dead children are found in them. I want to salute the police department for doing all the best that they can to save our city. Good thing it wasn't a police officer that got shot. A moment of peace for those dead. Thank you, Lord. Next thing all is there is a lot of potholes yet in the city, and a lot of people are raking their leaves right into the street, which is flooding the rest of the road when the rain comes. Can owners, property owners, bag their leaves? Another thing I'd like to put up, we have Arbor Day now. I was wondering if the city would like to take donations from anybody who wanted to donate anything to beautify our beautiful city future-wise. This is cat and puppy and a season where cats and puppies are being born. Look under your porches, look in your garages. There may be a puppy or dog and mommy in there and put their baby. They'll die if they don't get shelter. I'm gonna pray for the city and pray for all you. I know you do your very best, and I believe you're Christian people, and I believe you are too. And God bless America, and God bless Saginaw, Michigan. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Mayor, that takes us to remarks of council.
Council members, you have 3 minutes as well. We will begin tonight with Councilman Ostash.
Thanks, Mayor. Welcome everybody tonight to the Anderson Center for our meeting, and those that are watching from home. Just going to talk about some of the public input that we had tonight. I'm sure that we can probably, I don't know if he's still here. Salim, did you leave? He's already left. But we'll get an answer for him on that, and maybe even the manager can touch a little bit about that under the manager's report about how the water is working, especially with Midland, because Midland is under a different water supply, and it's a watershed, so to me, it's a complicated thing. It's like streets. I always have to ask Phil, like, how does this all work? So thank you. For the lady that was here about I didn't get the address, but it's Main Street. City staff.
1817 Main.
1817, thank you. Yeah, city staff will look into that. They'll notify council, and I'd like to know like what's going on there as well. Depends sometimes like who owns the home. Could be the land bank, so it could figure doesn't. Okay, I'm going to look up the address myself personally though. But thank you. And then and then there is Jamie. Thanks for coming and expressing your thoughts on Ojibwe Island. Me personally, right now, I would love to see the island open to some capacity again in the future once construction does come to a halt. There's going to be a report on that tonight here that you're going to hear. There's a presentation. It's going to outline a lot of the things that we are doing here for the island. I'm always available for a phone call. Anybody. My phone does not ring on this subject, and I actually sit on the committee with some of the other council members that are working on this project. So please call me. I would love to talk to you about it offline, but again, thanks for coming and talking to us tonight. And then Stephanie with the Boys and Girls Club. Thanks for coming and thanks for looking for the alumni. I am an ex-Boys Girls Club member from when I was a kid, but also you talked about the podcast, and I did do that podcast with them on Spotify, and it was a lot of fun. So if you ever would like me to come back, please just reach out to me. It was a lot of fun to work with the kids, and they had some very tough questions. So it was a lot of fun. So thanks for coming and sharing that with us tonight. And then Melanie, thanks for coming and always sharing with us what you see around the city. We have just gotten out of winter, so frost has torn up the roads. Sometimes we don't have a lot of staff that are running, but if you do see something, call it into the city. You can call me. Phil's shaking his head, because if we see something that we have to fix, we definitely will go fix it. And I have texted the city manager on numerous occasions saying, hey, we've got a big hole here to take care of. But also, if you see people putting their leaves in the street, that's another thing. Please get a hold of the city and let us know about that, because it will plug the drains. So thank you. That's all I have, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Braddock.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone, citizens. Welcome to your meeting. Don't have a whole lot to say, but first I would like to put out that Victoria's Community Development is having a free event expungement session April 15th from 4 to 8. We'd like all young folks to come and participate. It will be the guest speaker, Dr. Marvin Cotton, been wrongfully accused and served 20 years of his life. And so he will be the guest speaker for that day. And so we are looking at, our fight against the gun violence. And unfortunately, some things happened over this past week. Condolences to those families. But the community will come together, and I really have some faith in our city to come together and try to intervene and prevent some of this violence that's going on. I would like to see, more safe spaces for our youth. We have to create more safe spaces for our youth, to keep them out of danger or be idled into doing things they don't supposed to do. So that's been my focus pretty much. We're trying to intervene and prevent this violence in our city. So we're doing whatever we can to do to, help out. And there's a lot of other organizations and people as well. So I commend those for that. But that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilwoman Wiggins.
Again, thank you to all of the public input speakers. The topics that were brought up, I could hear the passion in your voices. definitely want to get more information from city staff to see what's going on, and hopefully be able to provide more information to you and resources and just answers. Just a quick comment about some of the violence that happened this weekend. One of the boys, he come to my house, and my daughter would make him cakes for his birthday, and his birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks. So I just want to say to those family members, I am so sorry. And if you know anything about anything that's happened in the city, please contact the police and help us help the city get safer. Thank you.
Next, we have Councilwoman Hammond.
Thank you. And thank you to our speakers for approaching the podium and sharing your concerns and opportunities with us. I want to make sure that speakers, please provide your contact information. If you would like to be reached out to directly, make sure that the city clerk has your direct contact information. I know one of the things provided to us today had an email on it. That's fantastic. Phone numbers, emails. Do not assume that because we have your address that we have the ability to contact you directly. This has happened before where I tried to reach out to a speaker only to be informed by the city that we actually don't have their contact information. So please do some extra diligence so that we can follow up. Emails are really great. Phone numbers are okay too. Also, I will say that there was a report or a presentation rather for a public hearing today, and there are also a couple of reports also during the manager's report. Those are available if you tap into the QR code that is on the agendas at the entrance. So you don't have to crane your neck and look over there to read the small writing. That's what that QR code is it'll lead you to a place where those are available. So as we come up to the reports, if you're trying to read the text, that's where those are going to be. So thank you to city staff for making that happen. I also wanted to briefly address, this is an issue that comes up all the time, it's water bills. Does the city residents pay higher water bills than a lot of the customers that we service? Yes, we do. The main reason for that are prevailing state laws and court cases that make it so that when we go to the negotiating table and negotiate 30-year master agreements, the city is not allowed to profit on certain maintenance items. And of course, that is a big question mark of responsibility. Because if we have a certain piece of infrastructure that's going from one part of our city to another part of our city, or a piece of resiliency infrastructure for our river, clearly that benefits the whole region, not just our neighborhoods. However, sometimes the state views that differently. So unfortunately, I wish that we could make a fairer assumption and say everybody's paying the same amongst all of our customers. Unfortunately, there is quite a bit of our negotiating ability that's preempted by state law. We also have Project 425 agreements that we make, which is a deal where we can charge income taxes, city income taxes, to buildings outside of the city and people who work there in exchange for providing them water to recoup on some of those last costs. But the state law on water bills is really, it's a patchwork and it needs to be addressed. And this is something that every city in Michigan deals with, where cities pay higher rates than townships and out counties. And it really harms particularly those cities that are their own municipal water sources. So I'm proud to have a public utility, and we need to treat it with care and respect. And I want to make sure that people know that sometimes we're fighting an uphill battle. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Young.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I commend Ms. Hammond. That was some good information. There was some things, I know that was a good presentation on the water issues. And he was speaking on the waste treatment facility, and I got a chance to tour through there, and they are very proactive in protecting us from, when you're dealing with the wastewater and things like that, those are one of the thankless jobs that they do, a lot of things to keep us safe, and they're located where they are. I think it kind of got confused with the waste treatment and the water. Those were two different departments, two different parts of town. And I've had a chance to go through the facility. I see some of the machinery that they use to take some of the waste and debris out that are aging. They're making repairs. They're also investing some money into using UV. They're very intelligent, and they're very, very good at what they do. So I had a chance to sit down with them and go through the facility, and they do a lot of work to do some things that, you know, everybody take for granted when you cut on the faucet or enjoy the water around here. So that was a good presentation by them. And the two public speakers that spoke about housing issues, that's one of my wheelhouses there. So staff will follow up and get us some information, but there is some reprieve with the situation with the fence being there for 35 years. I know a few things that, you know, can be done, you know, ahead of that to protect you when something has been existing for a certain period of time. You know, it's almost like a grandfathering in. So, you know, I'll get that information from staff. Then also the lady with the blighted house next door. So I'll be looking for some information on those to follow up. And staff does a really good job of communicating with us when issues come up, and I want to commend them for that, because even last week when Councilman Balls had said that he noticed a development on Hamilton Street, and you know, didn't know about it, didn't see it. Cassie Zimmerman and the IT department, they immediately went to the website, and now they have a section where if there's any private developments around the city, you can search and see what's going on. And they did that without us even asking them. They sent us an email, let us know the steps that they took. So, you know, just the way they collaborate and they're transparent with us, those are things that the public don't know how they operate. And that was what happened just since our last meeting, just on a question that he had. He wanted to make sure that it's accessible to the public. So I want to commend the staff for, you know, having an initiative to do things like that and to update us on that. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilwoman Seals.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to talk about the meeting we had on March 30th at the Corinthians Baptist Church about the tax cap and how it went. That was the first meeting of many that we're going to have in the city of Saginaw. And just thanking the mayor and the staff for putting that on, for heading that. Also Representative O'Neill for heading that, and he kind of spearheaded that for us to get those conversations started, because that's what we're doing right now. We're learning, growing as a community, and we're going to understand what we're going to be voting about this time so that we can make a conscious and wise decision on what we want as individuals in this community. And so I invite everyone to please come out and learn about this tax cap, the one that we're going to be talking about, because there's two of them. We're only working on one of them. This is the cash one. And so we're educating our community on what we're talking about. We need all you guys from Saginaw to come out and understand what you're going to be voting on in November. So our staff has been working very hard to get the information out. Matter of fact, there were very hard questions at this last town meeting. Very hard questions. Amos O'Neill got hit with some hard questions. Manager Morales got hit with some hard questions. He got hit with some hard questions. But they took them in stride, and they even say we're coming back with more information next time. We don't have all the answers right now, but we're getting them. And we need you guys to become part of this team with helping us to get the answers. We need your input. And so to get these answers, we need everyone to come in and come at the table, come sit at the table with us. Come sit here with us and help us to make these decisions to make Saginaw a better place. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Ball.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to thank all the speakers for coming up, speaking today, and I hope that your concerns will be met. I would like to give a shout out to the Boys and Girls Club. What you guys are doing there is marvelous. And I like the fact that you got this thing where all the kids can come back on a podcast and let everybody else know what you're doing. I'm taking this back to the First Ward Community Center, the neighborhood house, so they can do the same thing. Because whenever the kids can see other people that's growing up and see what they're doing in life, it brings hope, faith, and courage in those kids so they can go on and be productive members of society too. So I'm looking forward to doing that. This Saturday, had opportunity, well, it had opportunity, but I was riding down Trina Street on my way to my neighborhood, and there was two ladies out there picking up trash right near the tracks. And I was flabbergasted because I had stopped at the Sheridan, and I had picked up some trash with the kids in my neighborhood, and that cost me $30 last year. I had to pay all 3 of them, but I didn't mind spending it. But anyway, these ladies down there picking it up, and they was well into their 50s, and they had on their orange shirts. And I know that's a neighborhood association over there, but they didn't started their own association to clean up the neighborhood. I took pictures of them, and I just happened to be pulling a trailer at the time, and they told me to pick up the cardboard boxes. It was a box out there, like a refrigerator or a freezer was in the box, and then it was filled up with cardboard too. So the cardboard had to be stacked this high. So that cost me another $5 to get another kid to help me load down the trailer, and I helped him burn it up. So now I owe him $15 too. I don't know if I can come back and get that from the city or not, but anyway, I don't mind doing my fair share to make our neighborhoods look better. And we need to go back to the neighborhood associations and ask them to see if we can get more people to pick up the trash, because it looks terrible. It really looks bad to see trash all over the place like that in our city. Excuse me. I had the opportunity today to go to the water treatment plant today. Kind of fit in my wheelhouse because I was a pipe fitter in the plant, and seeing all the things that goes on there was magnificent. And we had the opportunity to show 3 high school students what's going on in the plant. So now they got a better understanding what's going on in the city of Saginaw to get us clean water. And it was a beautiful tour. The building is magnificent. It's a beautiful place. They got historical pictures there that's probably over 100 years old, I imagine. Or the Indians when they shared the land with the, I'm not gonna call them colonizers, but those people that came here to help out. But anyway, it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. And we're looking forward to having that water back into our city. And now that we got the water tower there, we know that the pressure is gonna be up all the time. So it's really nice seeing that today. Thank you.
Next, we have Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Good evening, concerned citizens of the community. Thanks for all our public speakers that came to talk about their concerns that are going on in their neighborhoods, making us aware because we don't know everything that goes on. So it's good to hear those concerns, keep them coming. I'm a big advocate for seniors, so I get it, it's hard. I live by myself, and I know how sometimes it's hard cleaning up, but you shouldn't have to clean up after your neighbors.
That's right.
So I get it. Also for Stephanie coming, thanks for the invite. I had a really great time with the kids. I enjoyed them, a lot of the teenagers. I got to see the little facility they were in the room, and I don't know how they could all be in there because I've substitute taught it, and that was really small a room. So I'm so glad that we were able to contribute the ARPA dollars for a well organization that's going to be utilized for future leaders to come from there. I'm excited, and I talked about doing one of the podcasts with the kids and that, so I'm excited to go and maybe give them some knowledge and learn from them as well. So it's exciting, and yeah, it was really a nice time that they had there. And I even have on my keychain, they have a 3D printer, and I have a little souvenir that I have on my keys that they made from their teen center, which I thought was really cool. I didn't get to see if it worked as a bottle opener yet because I didn't have anything to use it on yet, but so yeah, I'm glad I got to go down there and keep them concerns coming with the roads. A lot of times, like I said, everybody's not out there, but people will message us on Facebook and stuff, and we do get those concerns in because the staff is not everywhere all the time, so it helps us if we can help them. So also Ojibwe Island, I'm excited to see when it does open. You are going to see that livelihood coming back to Ojibwe. It's just people just, you know, I know you're running out of patience. I get it. It's a beautiful asset that we have here in the city of Saginaw. And I know everybody's waiting to get back and see it open and utilized. And I get it because I grew up going there too. And just on a Sunday drive, I just like to just go by the water by myself and enjoy it or read a book. So I get it. People are ready for it to open up and getting some movement going. So hopefully soon. I know the fireworks, they had some last year. I didn't get to go down there, but it's always a great time, and we want to keep that, you know, going for years to come for our generations of kids to see what we went through growing up. And then also just to all the police and firemen, you know, stay safe. Thank you for doing such great work here in the city of Saginaw, saving lives, protecting us. It's not an easy task. I know being a social worker, I've come across a lot of mentally draining, and then to have to go home and deal with your own problems. So I commend you guys for your great hard work in the city of Saginaw, especially with the crime right now that's taking place. So just make sure, just keep an eye on yourselves, your neighbors, be visual, you know. And then also, thank you for picking up the leaves. It started, so I got my leaves taken out already, so hopefully my neighbors will be happy with that. Thank you, that's all.
I'm not gonna say they saved the best for last, but all of my public speakers, thank you. If we don't know, and I tell people to come in front of us and tell what's going on. I give that advice to anybody if they're not happy. And that's not to put anybody on notice. That's just to say, we got a problem and we need to work on it. So my public speakers who spoke today, I thank you so much. Boys and Girls Club, I hate that I missed it, but when that was happening, I was at a senior citizen site with like 65 senior citizens eating, drinking tea, and being the Easter Bunny. I'd like to thank all the citizens who came out and supported our annual event that me and Charlie Platinum Wireless have at Hoyt Park. We gave out over 2,000 Easter baskets for Easter, and we also gave away toys. We ran out of toys, we ran out of baskets, and we had to go to some toys. One of the things that I love about Saginaw, and I say it all the time, Saginaw got heart. We got heart here in Saginaw. We gonna take a little and make something out of a little so we can share with our neighbors. For everyone who has any concerns about the destination of where Saginaw's going, we've been down too long. We can't do nothing but go up, y'all. That's all we can do right now. And if we begin to work together, I said, well, 4 people on each side of me. I depend on those 4 persons, these double 4s, to have my back. That's how this works. I look for these 4 and 4, to have my back. Not be in the streets talking about what we ain't done, but be in the streets and talk about what we gonna do. I've had the opportunity to travel in many spots, and one thing people say about Saginaw is this: y'all ain't scared. No, we not. So, with that being said, May 9th, you talk about cleanup. We've been doing this for 5 years. It's meet up to clean up. We will be at City Hall. Come eat breakfast with me. Come eat lunch with me. We'll be there from 9 to 12 cleaning up. Not just the east side, west side, north side. I hit all 4 corners because I work for every community. I work for the whole city of Saginaw. We don't have districts. I work for the east, the north, the south, and the west, and so do these other 8. So when you talk about it's dirty, clean it up. We got company coming. Thank you.
Mayor, that takes us to reports from the manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't have anything to add to about the water billing that Councilwoman Hammond mentioned. She's got those details correct. We also have some legacy costs that we can't add on to other communities' bills. And part of our role here is to help people understand their billing. So if anyone has issues, you can always come in. But I encourage you to also take a look at your bill, because the wastewater is the higher portion of our bill in the city. I think the last time I looked, our water bill is pretty comparative to Bay City and some of our other surrounding cities. Our wastewater bill is higher. We had a state mandate for, I think, about a $120 million project several years ago for combined sewer system. It's taken us a long time to pay that off, and that also caused other deferred maintenance issues that we're paying for now. So I'm happy to talk with anybody. My neighbor, come and see me. I'll let you know. But we do have a couple presentations this evening, and I know it's hot in here, so I don't want to take up too much. But Mayor Pro Tem did mention when Alex was up here, we are celebrating Earth Day in the city and our Arbor Day with the 13th annual Go Green celebration on Tuesday, April 21st from 11 to 1 p.m. at City Hall. The free event is open to the public and is hosted by the city's Green Team, a group of employees and volunteers dedicated to educating and motivating our community to recycle and care for the environment. This year's theme is Celebrate Arbor Day, One Tree at a Time. The event will feature an electric vehicle display, seedling giveaways, refreshments for attendees. We'll have representatives from Consumers Energy who will provide an interactive electric car demonstration and energy analysis, and the Saginaw Conservation District, which will be offering pine tree seedlings. In addition, compost bags from the city compost site and promotional bags from the Mid-Michigan Waste Authority will also be available. So we encourage residents to attend and take part in this community event. Additionally, please join city team on April 21st for the Neighborhood Association Action Group meeting at noon at HELP CVI, Community Violence Intervention, located in the Saginaw Community Foundation Building, 1 Tuscola Street, 2nd floor, Suite 201. A welcome will be given by Kareem Bowen with HELP, and you'll also hear an update from the Saginaw Public School District and Saginaw ISD, information on neighborhood communication system through various through Victorious Community Development, and get ready for this year's Best Kept Yard program. Also updates from neighborhood services, fire, and the police departments. Let's see. I'm going to try to do this from here, but it's been a long time since I did a PowerPoint presentation, so let's see.
You might have to stand up.
Can you help me, Vicki?
I have to go to the podium.
Go.
Want me to do it?
It's not working. Just tell him to slide.
Mr. Jeff, come click this for him when he need to click, please.
Mr. Jeff, come click this one. Is it off? They're not turning it on.
That's why it's good to have your own IT people handy. Okay, so you don't have to have an interruption.
There you go. Okay, we're good to go. But I will mention, we wanted to get this information out. Our IT staff is as excellent as Jeff just showed, but they are still working on this today. We want to post this on our website tomorrow. They developed an interactive results page, which is pretty cool. You can see every single response, and it's summarized to the right. And there is also a CSV download on that. So we're hoping to have that on there tomorrow. They went through and changed some, refined some language and some numbers. Today, they ran a study and found a change in the residency amount, because this is not uncommon, but a lot of people think they live in the city and they don't live in the city. So they clicked city resident. So we did have that search by address now, okay? Okay. So from historical perspective, Ezra Rust donated the land that became the Rust Park in Ojibwe Island, the city of Saginaw, in 1905, with a goal to turn the former industrial sawmill site into a public park. This wasn't an island at the time, but was high ground between the river and the bayous, largely covered in sawdust. And that's picture up there is what it looked like when he donated it. Transforming the area into a park required significant work, including dredging operations that were captured in photographs as early as 1908. So clearly the island has evolved and changed over the years. In fact, it was built from an industrial site to a regional asset. It's currently closed for construction. The work is being completed on the island now will shape its use for the next several decades. To that end, the City of Saginaw conducted the Ojibwe Island Survey to better understand how residents and park users experience the island today and what they value for its future. The survey provides a strong directional picture of community perspectives on access, safety improvements, and overall use of the park. The survey helped identify key themes that are important to the public, including the need to balance access with safety and comfort, strong concerns about after-dark conditions, broad support for practical improvements like lighting, restrooms, seating, and walking paths, mixed but meaningful preferences about vehicle access and pedestrian use. These findings helped clarify what matters most to users and where there is agreement or disagreement across the community. Survey was administered using a secure online platform with measures in place to reduce duplicate or invalid responses, including browser-based controls and validation requirements for key fields. The survey was not statistically controlled sample and was not intended to function as a binding vote or sole decision-making tool. It does not by itself determine final policy or design choices. Instead, it reflects input that must be interpreted alongside other considerations, especially where opinions are mixed or conditions are complex. In addition to survey input, the city must consider real-world operational factors, including safety conditions that vary by time of day, budget and staffing limitations, ongoing maintenance and enforcement capacity, accessibility needs for all users, including seniors and those with limited mobility, citywide park operating practices and policies. Together, these factors ensure that decisions are not only responsive to the public input, but are also practical, sustainable, and enforceable over time. The survey is an important tool for understanding community priorities, but is one part of a broader decision-making process. Decisions and recommendations will reflect both what the public values and what can be responsibly implemented to ensure Ojibwe Island is safe, accessible, and well-managed for years to come. So, overview of responses. We had almost 1,300 responses for the survey, 1,287. Resident space, this is what's updated, 785 and 502 resident to non-resident base. User familiarity, 525 frequent users and 762 infrequent users responded. And the top line performance, 56.5% of the respondents would like the island open to regular vehicle access. Strongest safety signal was 49.5% feel less comfortable after dark. And top improvements outlined were restroom improvements, lighting, and walking paths. How often do you visit Ojibwe Island City Park? And that was a single choice. About 25% of respondents visit once a week or more, and 17% visit a few times a month. The response base is not dominated by weekly users. Most respondents are occasional or lapsed users, so the operating model should balance convenience and re-engagement. So that's one of the things that I think we need to focus on going forward, is how to re-engage the island, whether it's special events, more city-sponsored special events, or services. How did you typically use the park before construction began? This was a multiple choice, selecting all that apply. Before construction, Ojibwe functioned as a flexible, multi-purpose park. Walking, events, passive recreation, family use, and fishing all mattered, which suggests the rebuilt park should not be planned around a single activity type. Okay. How do you most often access the park? This was again a single choice. 75% of the respondents are dependent upon vehicles to get to Ojibwe Island. So access is strongly vehicle-oriented in practice, including a meaningful subgroup that described mobility limitations or that stopped visiting once drive-in access ended. When construction is complete, how do you expect to use the park? And this was, again, multiple choice, select all that apply. Expected future use remains broad. Respondents want the rebuilt park to support passive recreation, family use, special events, and fishing. So again, multi-use was identified. What time of day do you typically use the park? Most users visit in daytime and early evening, which supports operating policies that prioritize daytime access and more restrictive late evening conditions. Preferred future operations. And this again was a single choice. 57% of respondents favor open vehicle access, while about 42% favor pedestrian only or a hybrid model. A majority favor regular vehicle access, but the preference is not universal. Hybrid and pedestrian priority choices together account for a substantial number of responses, which means the policy decision should respond to competing values rather than assume a simple consensus. Question 7 was vehicle traffic impact. Similar numbers of respondents stated that vehicles improve or reduce their experience, and then another third said there was no impact by vehicles. Vehicle access preference, again, this was single choice. 41% of respondents favor continuous vehicle access. 41% favor limited hours, specific days, or seasonal vehicle access, and 14% favored no vehicle access. Even among respondents open to vehicles, continuous access is not the only acceptable model. Limited hours access has major support and is practical to manage. Safety perception, 41% of respondents stated that they feel very safe at the park. Baseline perceived safety is more positive than negative, but not strong enough to support an unmanaged approach, especially given the time of day concerns that appear elsewhere in the survey. What factors make you feel safe while using Ojibwe Island? Respondents define safety broadly, not just enforcement, but lighting, visibility, activity, maintenance, and visible management. The camera-only strategy would not address the full pattern. What factors make you feel unsafe or less comfortable when using Ojibwe Island? This was select all choices that apply. Loitering or disruptive behavior, poor lighting, poor maintenance, speeding vehicles, and lack of security were all identified as factors that make people feel less comfortable when visiting Ojibwe Island. The bigger discomfort drivers are disorder, darkness, deferred upkeep, and fast vehicles. These are operational design issues that can be directly addressed. When do you feel less comfortable using the park? Discomfort is overwhelmingly concentrated after dark and secondarily in the evening. This is one of the clearest survey signals and strongly supports evening access rules, tighter nighttime controls, and better lighting. When asked about improvements, improvement priorities are basic and practical first. Restroom improvements, seating, lighting, and paths. Respondents are not primarily asking for signature features before basic functionality is addressed. What do you value most about Ojibwe Island? And this is a short text. Respondents, the park's strongest value proposition is its natural beauty, river setting, quiet character, and role as a shared civic place. Concerns regarding future operations. This was long text. Written concerns concentrate on safety, access, upkeep, and whether rules will be enforced in a way that is visible to users. Additional comments, and this was long text again. Open-ended theme snapshot. 41.9% of respondents completed the section. Additional comments tended to reinforce compromise solutions focusing on daylight access, vehicle and parking access, limited access for seniors or disabled users, slower speeds, better enforcement of standards, protection of island's quiet character. Additional comments repeatedly point towards compromise solutions rather than a pure all vehicle or no vehicle outcome. Okay, so those are all of the questions, but we've received other comments and noted within the survey about different things that people were looking for that have already been done or were in process. So we did talk about this at a council meeting, but I want to put it on here. This will be posted on our website too, so anyone can see it. So we wanted to include and further document projects that have already been completed as well as those in process, as some comments from the survey indicated that many were not aware of what has already been done and what's being worked on now. Projects that have already been completed: Floating docks have been rehabilitated and will be placed. That's important for fishing access. That was something that was noted by multiple users. You'll see the rock that has been placed. Users used to go to the shoreline to fish, and that was noted that that's harder to do now, or it could be dangerous. So those docks will be important for fishing points. Stage rehabilitation, and including electrical upgrades, and that's important for concerts and special events in the park. I don't know how many of you checked out the stage prior to this work being done, but it had a lot of holes in the stage decking. That's been repaired, it's had electrical upgrades, so that's ready to go for concerts, and we do have to recognize that that's a joint project. This county provided funding for that as well as the city. And finally, the West Bank shoreline stabilization is complete. We don't anticipate any additional shoreline stabilization at this time. So projects we have in progress right now, that's part of the work that's going on. I don't know if they've been able to start with all the rain we've had. They have. Phil's shaking his head, so. Repaving the circular drive and existing parking lots, so the parking lots that are already there will be repaved. Reconfiguring the entrance lot to increase capacity. That's the lot to the left. If you turn left going in, that's going to be reconfigured to increase the number of parking places. We're paving the gravel parking area, which if you've been out there, that's on the, would be on the north end of the island. That's going to be a paved parking lot. Creating an accessible path in the front of the park. That was noted for accessibility for mobility limited individuals. We're creating a new parking lot on the east side of the entrance, so if you turn right going in, you would have a new parking lot there. We're installing boulders and landscape barriers to protect the central lawn, and new benches and seating areas are being placed as well. That was another common reference in the survey. Potential additional projects that we already started looking at before are security camera upgrades, additional security lighting, new North End Trail, and additional parks maintenance crew. So that would be, we'll come back to you about additional investments for approval. Phil already has another list that I keep sending him new items to look at for potential speed control and different things like that on the drive. So we'll be reviewing all of that and the potential to add to that project. So what can we take from the survey? The survey does not justify unrestricted legacy conditions, but it also does not support a fully pedestrian or cyclist park and walk posture as the most practical response after construction. The most defensible choice remains a hybrid managed access model with daylight vehicle hours, traffic calming, hardened edges, defined short stay or parking areas, and visible safety packages. So we do anticipate having regular vehicle access, likely daily, but there may be more than one option for council to consider. So we'll bring that back to you with an implementation package once we get a few more of the costs down. But I would anticipate there being vehicle access daily to those new parking areas especially.
Brendan?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, wake up.
Whatever.
I got a question.
Oh, I missed one side. But you can slide, you can go ahead.
Now, are you done,
Yeah,
sir?
yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Councilman Balls.
Tim, did you say that we're not gonna have areas for walking and biking? Did you
No,
say that?
no, what we want to develop there is multi-use park functions. So we do want to have walking, biking, ability to park, particularly for people who are vehicle dependent and have mobility issues, but it would be available to everybody. So we want to have those clearly defined places for that type of activity. One of the projects that I know I gave to Phil before, and he said he doesn't have any money for it, but it's creating a looped trail on the north end of the island.
yes.
Because then that would be completely away from vehicle access. So that would be a good opportunity for walking and biking.
That's what I was thinking. I was just thinking of something on those terms. So,
Find us some money.
no, Phil got it. He'll find it. Cut back on some of them vehicles he buying. We'll find it.
Yes, Councilwoman Hammond.
Thank you. So I have a couple questions, but first I want to say that I have a really big issue with how the interpretations and implications sections are phrased throughout this presentation. I know that at the beginning you mentioned that as a disclaimer, this isn't meant to exactly present necessarily policy priorities, but then we're presenting policy priorities throughout the presentation. So one of my takeaways was I was actually incredibly impressed with the consensus to open the park to vehicle access. Let's take question 6. The question was, in general, how would you prefer Ojibwe Island to operate after construction is complete? One of the respondents that's shortened to pedestrian priority in the presentation is essentially describing how it was before construction shut the whole thing down, which was having an entrance at the park and only allowing through bikes and walking. And then the hybrid as described is a mix of pedestrian bicycle use and limited vehicle access. That got 20% of the vote. And then open to regular vehicle access throughout the park got 56% of the vote. However, a mix of pedestrian and bicycle use and limited vehicle access is also just opening the park to vehicle access. Because we're saying we don't want people to drive on the areas that are just for walking. That's hybrid access. So combining those two results is 76% of people want to see greater vehicle access, want to see it open to vehicle access throughout the drive that's made for vehicles. So what I'm concerned about...
I just want to interject it, but I did say it would be open to vehicles on a daily basis, correct?
Fantastic, but the issue that what I take issue with is making policy decisions from a framework of interpreting questions, which is an interpretation that's not how we ask the questions in the survey. And I did receive several community complaints about the survey and how it was worded, and people felt like it was trying to get a certain result. I don't have that to say. I'm very excited to see the counts and crosstabs in the CSV back end tomorrow to try and dig through the data. I'm very interested in that, and since there were so many community responses, I'm definitely interested in hearing the results. But what I am very concerned about is this final slide. Is this meant to be taken in a chronological order?
The one that I missed?
Yes, next steps.
Yes.
Okay.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
I think there could be different phases. So I don't think you need to determine how you're going to reactivate to get more people to be there. I don't think you need to have a plan for that before it's open. That can be an ongoing project. I think one of the things that we should do is attempt to engage with the Saginaw County Parks more and utilize some of their staffing at the island to provide either special events or equipment rental, things like that. That's something that we could definitely approach them about. But that doesn't need to be in place prior to reopening after construction. That can be ongoing.
I appreciate that distinction. Also, because the point that I'm getting at here, that I am very hesitant to accept on its face throughout this presentation, is the idea that, you know, here are extra things that the park could have, whether that's lighting or benches or limited hours or all those things. We didn't specifically tie any of those results to consequences when it comes to park accessibility. So we asked people, in a perfect world, how do you feel more safe using a park? But then what we didn't say was, would you prefer to wait 5 months for the park to reopen to vehicle access or have lights everywhere?
Yeah. I don't anticipate that being the case, though. So it seems like this is going down a road that's not going to delay opening. So right now, what we hope to do is if we're adding lighting or cameras or whatever it happens to be, it will be during this construction process. So if we had the opening time we talked about of early July, we don't want to delay that for any additional projects. So once our main drive project is done, we would expect that to open. okay? So if we add lighting and it takes 3 months for the order to come in, that's not gonna be 3 months extended construction, season. If we wait until fall to install those, when there's fewer residents in the park, that's fine. Yeah, I don't think any of these upgrades or improvements delay that.
Necessitate delays.
Yes,
I
yes.
appreciate that. So then, is the plan on July, I would assume 5th, then, at the current point in time, to reopen the park to include vehicle access throughout the entire drive?
Well, I want to bring back different options for you. Whether it's a phased approach, I think we talked about that before, whether it's phased daily or creating other more pedestrian safe or friendly areas, whatever that happens to be, we'll bring back some options for council to look at.
Okay.
Prior to that reopening, though, yes.
That's
yes,
exactly
yes.
what I was going
Yes.
to ask. Do you have any anticipated date that we should have in mind for expecting some of those final decisions to be outlined?
Yeah, I would guess we would have that by May meetings, for sure, because I want Mr. Carwatt to be able to purchase anything additional necessary as quickly as he can, so that things do happen this season, whether it's in August or September. We'd like to have most of those projects done on the island this year.
Thank you, and I appreciate the presiding officer for allowing the dialogue.
You way over my schedule. It's that joke me and her half. Councilman Young.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
He probably forgot his question.
Mr. Manager, I'm pretty visual in my decision-making. That's why I wanted to tour all of the facilities. I would like to, is there a way that I can schedule time to actually view the current process? Because if you're going to bring something to council, I can make a better decision if I've seen a layout with my own eyes, whether it's where the lighting is, where the path, how much of the drive. So I can't make an informed decision without seeing it with my own eyes. So can you open a schedule for me to just look? Because even if Mr. Carwatt wants to do speed, different things, if he bring it to us, I have to see what it looked like before to make a better informed decision.
Yeah, definitely. I actually want to go back there myself, so I was going to have Phil take me over there. So any council member that wants to go and see the process, send me an email and we'll schedule. It doesn't have to be at the same time. We'll try to make it convenient for you.
Okay, thank you.
Madam?
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Well, hold on 1 minute, Councilman Ball.
No problem.
Nothing on this end. I'm sorry. After Mr. Councilman Husted.
Comment and a question. So the comment that I want to make is, I'm really glad that we did the erosion control for the island, because what we just experienced to get, the water crest was at like 25 feet. We haven't seen that since the dams broke. I mean, that water was really moving through there, so I'm glad we did that. But the question is too, we talked about multiple use, is the Bell Iron Trail, is that still going to be in the same spot on the left side? Okay, so we're not moving that as also.
Yeah, that will always run through there. But I think you're right about the erosion control, because if the river would have been at the level, it would probably be beyond the drive right now if we hadn't done that project.
Because when I drove by, we didn't really have to dredge it right now. It was awful. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Councilman
I'd like to thank you for the presentation that you gave and the safety features that you plan on putting into the park. I love to see that happening. I mean, a lot of people talking about just open up the park, but no one is worrying about the other people's concern about even a little girl got hit by a car out there. No one that wants that park open that I've seen said a word about that happening. No one said anything about the pistol playing that was going on at the park, and the many times that the police had to come out there to stop things from happening. No one in the survey said anything about that. And I'm glad that you're trying to do some things to address those issues before they happen. Everybody know about the issues that we have in the city of Saginaw, where young people are having guns and mad because you did this to me last week and I did this to you this week, what happened last year. And we want to have this place for a place that everybody can come and enjoy themselves. And I appreciate the work that you're doing. I have a lot of good reasons for that park. I met my wife at that park almost 40 years ago. And I'm And as of today, she don't want to drop me back off, but everything's good
She
today.
wanna drop
So
you back
I'm just
off.
saying, you know, this is a beautiful park for everybody. I mean, look at the surveys. We had over 1,200, 1,300 surveys. Almost 800 people from in the city, and another 600 people don't live in the city, but come in the city and enjoy our park. So let's open up this park with a grand opening. Let's have a good time, and so everybody can enjoy this park for the rest of our lives. Thank you. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman. And I would, add that even the non-resident users, respondents, are probably a lot of people who grew up in the city and use the island the same way. But even prior to COVID and the construction work being done, I think we can all admit that the island wasn't being utilized as frequently as it was in the past. I mean, you could go there on a Saturday when it was open to fully open vehicle access and be the only person there.
Yeah.
That happened several times. But so I think that's going to be a key component, and as Councilwoman Hammond stated, and we had talked about this a little bit before, how do you reactivate and provide activities that are family friendly, but that can be an ongoing program that you're trying to develop. And I know some of you have other council members have approached me about, you want to have events this season. We could try to plan that this year even after we open, but there are, I think Phil could tell you, there are probably more special events planned this summer after opening than we've had prior to the construction. So there's a big group that is interested in having special events. I know someone contacted Councilwoman Hammond. She forwarded me the information. So anyone interested in special events, send them our way. Phil's staff can help with that too.
I just want to make a comment. We're excited to see it open, and that's the goal. All the council I know wants to see it open. We never said we didn't. We want to see it open and be put good to use, but we want it done the right way.
That's right.
Safety concerns, you see the violence that's going on now. I don't want nobody's, mothers coming and crying, because it's not a great scene for the city. So thank you guys for doing your diligence and taking the time to make sure that we open it safety. And also, I just want to put out there, if anybody's in need, the Eastside Soup Kitchen is having their food giveaway Monday, April 20th at 9 a.m. So if you know anybody, it's a drive-through service, go get you a box of food if you're in need, because the prices of groceries are really high. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask, so to clarify for the CSV or the report, is that going to be like a counts and crosstabs interactive?
The CSV, and I might need to switch to Jeff because I just saw that, but it's downloadable to Excel. Okay. So you can run pivot tables or use Excel, data analytics, whatever. And the interactive tool that they built is very nice too, because you can select each one and it's a nice summary, so you can see what that individual, kind of to tie the responses together. If you look at I've spent a lot of time the last week looking at this, and the Excel spreadsheet is difficult to read, as you can imagine.
And I would also propose and ask if it's a possibility. I got some outreach from a couple professors at SVSU, and they mentioned that they have an entire statistics department that would love to participate and help out with some of the difficult phrasing of questions and best scientific practices for the future. Is that something that we could look into partnering on?
We've worked with SVSU for years for crime analytics and GIS, so yeah, it may be even the same group. Yeah, send them our way if you have contacts there, and we'd be happy to work with them.
Thank you.
I just want to say, come on, Councilman Ball.
Go ahead, if you got something to say, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to thank our city manager for visiting Great Lakes Bay, the city manager and Great Lakes Bay for visiting Gateway to Recovery and Treatment Center last week. They had the opportunity to tour the whole building to find out how we can help out the people in the city of Saginaw that having a problem with alcohol and drugs. So I just want to thank Tim and Great Lakes Bay for coming and visiting the treatment center. Thank you, Tim.
Yep, I think that was a great opportunity to try to connect organizations that are looking to provide services for our residents that are very much needed. So we appreciate that.
I wanted to say, for those who don't know, this morning on our conference call, I asked, we want to have a ribbon cutting ceremony for Old Jipway when it opens, which means we want to have snow cones, popcorn. You talk about family activities. We want to make it a family activity. And so, listen.
That's good, beautiful.
If we don't do anything else, that's the goal. Nobody has to pay. It's gonna be free. So that means everybody get your thinking caps on up here. Cause that means we gotta go out and get sponsors so that we can have a grand opening for Old Jipway. Now the community keeps saying they want it open. Once we open it, I pray to God that we help. If we ride around the city is dirty. Let's not make Old Jipway dirty too, because I've heard that. Yes, sir.
Madam Mayor, I'm glad you mentioned that. I mentioned it to staff, and a lot of people don't remember back then, but we had an annual event on Ojibwe Island. It used to be called the Family Affair. And we had a free concert on Ojibwe Island, and I believe it was sponsored with 107 radio station back then. Yeah, so that was in the,
They've been bought 30 times over.
Yeah, so that's something that maybe we can get back to where we have something for the community, whether we have to organize some fundraising or something, just like how we do for the fireworks. We put on a huge fireworks show every year, and that's through donations, so maybe we can, create a path to get to where, we can have some donations or a drive and start a yearly free concert for the community on Ojibwe Island, and that's what it used to be called. I look forward to it every summer. In the 90s, we had free concert, and that was like the highlight of the year when you would have the Saginaw Fair, the fireworks, and then the family affair. It was all in the peak of the summer, and that was a good time. So maybe we can, get back to where we can enjoy the city like that and look forward to events. So that's all.
Yes, Councilman Ball.
I'd like to nominate my fellow council.
Back to our roots.
Well, I did put a car show on in 2008 on Ojibwe Island concert.
You know what? There is so much that can be utilized at Ojibwe. We have to put our heads together. On a serious note, before the summer is over, we normally have Light Up the City. We have a big party over there then. Councilman Young talked about family affair. I also remember that was probably Michael about the same time. The little girl got caught up in the crossfire, and they were picnicking. And his baby went up like a rag doll up in the air, and families were there. So I don't really want it to be the way it used to be. I want stuff to be better in Saginaw, because if it was so good, we would still have it.
I think, there is a lot of interest in reactivating parks, and we're gonna have a new park on the riverfront that we want to make sure people use it and we activate it. And Phil can tell you, I've already been giving him a bunch of ideas that to bring people down there and do things like you're talking about. So if you're thinking about that, send me the ideas. Hopefully we can work with other organizations that put on these events too. Like, I don't want to put anything else on Positive Results Downtown, but I'm sure they'd be willing to help us if we fund some of the stuff. So that's an opportunity there. But I do want to get Cassie's presentation going as well. So if we don't have any more questions about
we don't have any more questions, do we?
No. Let him go.
All right, Miss Cassie.
Is she pregnant?
That's a dumb question, Michael.
We have talked this year too about moving the trunk or treat event possibly to Ojibwe.
Okay.
So we'll see if that would work out, because October would be plenty within the time frame. But I'm assuming it's just connected to this one. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to talk today about, we're back to the KPIs from strategic planning session. So my name is Cassie Zimmerman. I'm the Director of Planning and Economic Development over the Building Planning and Economic Development Department. So we have 4 divisions within my department. We have inspections, planning, zoning, and economic development, parking enforcement, and environmental improvement. Our overall focus areas are to protect the health, safety, and welfare of residents, encourage viable and sustainable development, and support community-centered initiatives that enhance quality of life. So the work of the department is pretty broad, and it encompasses planning and zoning approvals, building, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing permitting, as well as enforcements in zoning, parking, and general code enforcement. We incorporate a lot of community engagement as well, so that we are educating our community and making sure that we're out there and we're the faces that we don't want to always come out in bad situations. We try to do a lot of good as well and do positive and celebrate the wins. So we work alongside our residents as well as private and public entities a lot, especially to plan and understand what is going on in the city, so that we are ultimately, everything that we're doing is obviously to improve the city. So how does this relate to City Council's strategic goals? The number one goal that you guys had at the strategic planning session was economic development. So this chart, which is pretty small up there, but hopefully you guys have these this presentation, shows the tracking of our initiated action steps identified in the master plan since its adoption in August of 2022, which was fiscal year 2023. The master plan encompasses a lot of goals related to planning, zoning, housing, economic development, site readiness, quality of life, and others. While this is only one KPI, it equates to 134 action items. So you can see the numbers there. The master plan and the action plan, which is at the very end of the master plan, is on the website. We do update it regularly so that you can see exactly what is ongoing and what has been accomplished. Many of the items that are ongoing include continuing relationships with other organizations for the development of trails or amenities or quality of life aspects for the city. We identify key development opportunities to meet the needs of the community, continue to maintain best practices in development. Our RRC, some of our RRC goals are within the master plan as well. That's the Redevelopment Ready Community certification that we hold. And it also speaks to us working with the community to move forward community-centered initiatives, mainly around quality of life or development. Outside of those items labeled ongoing, there's 93 items that we can check off and say we've completed. So those 93 are the ones that we are calculating these numbers on. So by the end of this current fiscal year, we're currently looking at being completed with 81% of the action items. So just in 3 years, we've been able to accomplish that. So it's been a really great couple of years. I have a couple planning commissioners on here, and we've had really great city staff working on those. A lot of it was done through our zoning ordinance update, which I know you guys are all familiar with. We just finished that last year. Quite a few of them came out of there, so this slide shows the overall goals that came from the master plan that we used to kind of guide the zoning rewrite, along with a lot of community input. The physical changes that were identified in the master plan and incorporated into the zoning code include evaluating and streamlining requirements for development, allowing for more diverse housing types, and identifying areas for opportunity for infill for those housing types. We came up with a few different zones that are really specifically targeting more dense and diverse housing types where there's more opportunity. We've created zones, that's what I just said, created zones specifically to allow for those developments. We've right-zoned areas, so we've had a lot. The city zoning code wasn't updated prior to that in a larger capacity since the 70s. So there are a lot of areas that kind of had been rezoned or changed, or just they ended up developing differently than what it planned. which really hinders people to even build a porch on their house or for a business to expand because they currently wouldn't be zoned that way. So we did a lot of right zoning, so putting things back to the way that they actually ended up developing. And a big part of it as well was creating a more readable and accessible code. Your number 3 goal was arts, culture, and recreation. So just last year, we began the Playdates in the Park program. This came out of the Michigan Fitness Foundation Promoting Active Communities program. It was a grant program that the city was awarded, and we worked with a committee to really analyze where the barriers were to physical fitness and recreational activity. We discovered that the biggest barriers that we found really was, and this is going back to parks, I mean, we don't have as active of parks. And one of the reasons is a lot of kids don't necessarily know what to do when they go to a park. Unless there's some kind of set activity, there's swings or a merry-go-round or those types of things, they know how to use that. But what do you do with just open space, or what are there different games you can play? I mean, it was really incredible when talking to kids about what they do when they go outside to play. They go on a walk. Like, okay. So we decided that what we needed to do was create programming to get kids more involved, get them out of their comfort zone, and maybe teach them how to do some different things. So we developed in the first year 5 different events, partnered with organizations that already run club sports, team sports of some kind, of those 5 events, to then lead a group a group of kids where we then gave them the equipment, because that was another problem, is they often didn't have the equipment to do whatever that sport was. Last year, we had a total of 139 participants. This year, we're doing, it was very successful, it was awesome. I think a couple of you were at some of these events. They were amazing. This year, we're doing 7 events. So far, we've done 1, which was at the First Ward. We did a street ball hockey day. We had 51 kids at our very first event. So we are set to far exceed our 139 attendance last year. So we're hoping for something closer to 300 is really what I'm looking at, especially with 7 events. There on the last page is where the flyer was with the events. A couple repeats, but a few different ones. And we're trying to broaden kids' imagination of what kind of clubs there are, what things they can be involved with, really spark some kind of passion to get them out and get them playing. And then also we're taking them to our city parks to rediscover them and come back with that equipment and be able to do it again. Your number 4 goal is neighborhood revitalization. So this slide shows the goals that we already have, our KPIs, our key performance indicators that we already track. Our department tracks enforcement numbers. So one way that we are working to revitalize neighborhoods is just to keep it clean, to keep housing safe, to keep, those windows from being broken and the trash and debris to be piled up. I have numbers on here that we continuously track. We're always looking to it's not that we're looking to penalize folks, but we are looking to benefit those that do take care of their property and make sure that the neighbors are taking care of their property as well. Because one house can bring down a block, and it's really, really disheartening, especially when there is one shining example of a neighbor on a block, and then everybody else is kind of pretty lax about mowing their lawn or picking up the trash or fixing a broken down fence. We did actually start, and I was going to bring this later, but the Best Kept Yard Awards, that was started by a code enforcement officer maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and that's been a really awesome program to, again, reward those people who are doing a great job at just being a neighbor, just being somebody you want to live next to. We do a lot of community engagement that I mentioned, so we attend individual neighborhood association meetings. I know the police and fire talked about that last week. Code enforcement and our planning and zoning team also do that. We have a lot of informational brochures and flyers and things that we like to take to neighborhood associations. We also host every other month a neighborhood action group meeting where we bring in other organizations that are doing things in the community. We invite neighborhood association leaders to present on what they're doing and try to encourage collaboration. We host a community resource fair every June and team up to clean up with the mayor and the city manager's office. That is heavily part of inspections and maintenance department who run those. As well as the trunk or treat, which I mentioned. We may have that at Ojibwe this year. We also have started planning for a new event, a Neighbor Day block party that we are going to hold in August. And this is another event that we're looking at bringing together the neighborhood associations to get them to work together and kind of plan out their events and make a bigger impact on just their small area and the city as a whole. So we all work together. Some of the new suggestions that came out of the strategic planning meeting was housing quality and development. So the statement I got was collaborate with other local units of government to meet the identified needs, emphasizing new housing in the city. And then affordable housing. By the end of 2025, participate in the county-wide housing study, discussions, and relationship building efforts. So we have been doing these over the years. We're regularly meeting with other units of government in the region, as well as local partners within our area. Region G did just get reorganized and is being led by Housing Forward. I am part of the housing ecosystem and the website committee. I'm also on MCOG's many email chains, as well as I know some other departments are as well. So always getting information on resources and available programs out there for housing. They held for the first time in a very long time, a housing summit in our region, and I was able to give a presentation there with Mount Pleasant and Midland. That was a really awesome seminar. They had I know a couple council members were there, and they had a lot of folks from the construction industry, developers, as well as community leaders. And it was a really great place to get a lot of contacts and talk to folks who are doing things throughout the region. Because if somebody's building housing in Mount Pleasant or Midland or Bay City, it's not hard for them to also be looking at Saginaw. And many of them are looking at Saginaw. They just maybe didn't have the right person to contact. So I'm very hopeful that we're going to get some stuff out of these continued relationships. In the city, we do have the Housing Commission, obviously, regularly meet with them, as well as churches, community centers, neighborhood associations, and some other nonprofits and other private industry leaders who are looking at doing housing in the city, not just new housing, but renovations. We have a lot of organizations like CAC and the Community Development Block Grant Department in the city that does housing repairs, roof, windows, visitability housing repairs, which is essentially bringing like that first floor up to ADA standards so that you can have somebody come into your home who is handicapped or mobility limited. So we're always looking at, that's not necessarily my department, but kind of working with those other folks to help make connections and help encourage those programs. Some other new KPIs. So we're in the midst of right now creating a housing and economic development strategy. It will be done by the end of the fiscal year, so the end of June. We're looking at having an open house in May sometime. I don't have a date yet, middle to the end of May, and where we will be sharing out a bunch of the information that we've gathered so far. We've done a lot of data collections. We had a survey out for quite a while and then done market interviews as well, which I had a couple council members on also, as well as realtors, bankers, and some other leaders in the community who work in either business or housing. That will give us a whole nother list of action items that we will be checking off one by one to help move us forward to get more housing and business development in the city. We also, thanks to Councilman Young, held our first developer meeting. Thought that meeting was really successful in December, and it brought us a lot of contacts with some folks that I had never been in front of before, which was really great. So we've had quite a few of them in and out of our office working on different projects. I definitely want to continue that and moving forward, having some more developer meetings in the future. And then another item that we're going to add to help improve housing is tracking the number of rental inspections that we do each year. Right now, we don't have a lot of inspection staff, but we try to do rental inspections about every 3 years. We will do them more often if there are complaints, but often it does end up being 3 years. Sometimes it goes to 4 years, but that is something that we are really going to look into because I know that rentals end up being an issue, and I've gotten some emails just recently about rentals that are just falling into disrepair, and one person gets kicked out or they just leave, but then another person comes in and the issues still exist. So that's going to be another item that we're really focused on moving forward. And then Tim just wanted me to share a couple projects that are going on. So I do have numbers. This was from the countywide study that shows how many new housing units came into the county in 2025. We did not have a lot of those in the city. However, if you look forward at the available units coming soon, we have a lot of housing projects that are underway right now. And a lot that will be coming on either in 2026, maybe 2027. And we're actually having more and more. I was just talking in the office today about another 8-unit new build that's going to be going in. So the Jefferson Apartments, this is 505 Millard. Some of you were on council when we sold this property. This went out for a request for proposals, and we ended up selling it in 2023. This is planned to be 40 affordable apartment units, studio 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom. There has been a lot of work being done since it was sold in 2023. It should hopefully be coming to fruition decently soon. This is over on Millard near St. Mary's Hospital, really kind of in the Medical Diamond area. So I can imagine that this is going to be great for nurses, it's going to be great for students, just great for anybody, honestly. And from what our numbers show, we have shrinking household sizes. We need these smaller units, and they're affordable, so this is exactly the type of housing that we need in the city. The West Bank Lofts is the Jake's Old City Grill. Above that, you've likely noticed these 3 historic buildings going back down to Niagara Street have been under renovation. This is going to be 11 high-end for-sale condo units, and then 4 commercial spaces on that first floor. So as you walk down that alleyway going towards Niagara, there's also a private parking garage that was built in the back where Ewald's was. So that will be just for the residents, and I don't have a picture of it, but as you don't crash, but as you drive over the Court Street Bridge, if you look over, you can see that there is a private deck on top of that garage, which is a really cool feature it's just for these residents, but it's really cool for the folks living in downtown, or in Old Town. The Adams Street Apartments, so this is the one that Councilman Balls was asking about a couple weeks ago. So this is the project that is on Hamilton and Adams. It's going to be 30 units of market rate apartments and 2, I believe now it's 2 retail spaces on the bottom. It's also going to only be kind of on the front half of the property, so that entire block essentially is going to be redeveloped. At this point, this is like a phase one to have this building, and then it will also include 2 live-work units. So somewhat looking like townhomes, but on that very first floor is going to be like an office space for folks who, maybe you do hair, maybe you're an attorney or an artist or a tattooist, something like that. You can own your place, live above it, and it's really kind of, I mean, these are innovative, but it's almost going back to how things were before. That's always the coolest, is when we just go back to what we already did before. If this is successful, I know that the Shaheen Development Group is the one doing this, and I know that they're interested in continuing doing those. And again, this is only about the front half, so there will be development in the future on the Niagara side. Habitat for Humanity has, I know you guys have been aware of this, they have done so much good over on the west side in the Covenant and Northwest neighborhoods. They have, since 2023, completely renovated, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, completely renovated 10 homes. They have been doing a lot of renovations over the years, but they have now mixed in new builds again. So they built 3 new homes last year. I believe 1 was the year before, so they have 4 brand new builds. In 2026, they have plans for 9 additional new builds. And then moving forward, they're looking at 5 every single year. So for the foreseeable future, as long as they continue to get funding. So I have some pictures of ones that are either done or under construction. And then those are some renderings of some new houses that they're looking at building, because they don't want it to be the typical, you can recognize that it's a Habitat house. They don't want to have too many of them in the same area, even in the city. So they're going to be mixing up what they're looking at, and we're going to get some cool different types of housing from Habitat. This is another project that's been underway for quite a while. You may have noticed them. This is the Davenport Apartments out there just a little bit west of Bay Road, or Bay Street maybe at that point. These are affordable units, so if I switch to this, you may recognize it. So this front building, it used to be some kind of office building. They've renovated that into 8 units, and then they're building an additional 13 on the back, straight across units. That's what that rendering is, and you can kind of see them in the back there. And then there is another option for another phase that will build a 2-story, 10-unit building. So these are all one-bedroom apartments, again, filling in that need for small housing, small units. And these are affordable units over there on Davenport. So, lots of housing. It's a great time in the city.
Yes.
Any questions?
Any questions? Yes, Councilwoman.
Hi, Cassie. Thank you so much for the presentation. I really, really appreciate it. I wanted to ask, is the area, when we're talking about 80%, and we say something's affordable area median income, are we referring to the MSHDA area median household income limits?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to mention, for the purposes of discussions about affordability, that a studio apartment based off of Saginaw's AMHI chart is $1,148 a month. A 1-bedroom is, going up to a 2-bedroom, which is $1,476 a month. So right now, I just like to point that out, and I want to ask you another question, but when we talk about affordability in the city, it's such a tough conversation to come to an agreement about what is affordable housing versus market rate, because the market currently in the city of Saginaw sits at about 70% of that area median household income, which is awful for your job, because we're trying to develop shared understanding and also, try to find opportunities and funding opportunities for affordable housing. When that I've been to an MML conference that said, well, Saginaw already has enough affordable housing. It's like, okay, but that's a problem with the way we look at the statistics, not necessarily a need that doesn't need to be met for Saginaw residents. So I appreciate the work being done there. And do we have, when we say Davenport apartments are considered affordable housing, do you happen to know the percentage of AMHI and if they're gonna be like enforcing income limits on those?
Yep, it was supposed to be under 80%.
Under 80%, okay.
80% or under.
80% or under, okay. Thank you.
And those are usually determined by their funding mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great presentation. And I have seen a lot of the houses that are being built, and we, as a council, took an initiative over in Covenant Hospital area too, that we did a neighborhood enterprise zone. So that is helping out with property taxes on the property, not the building. So that was another incentive that we did there for that project. Question, I'm kind of thinking that they're kind of holding off, but is there any movement where the captain's code was? Because we were doing a Hamilton Street ramp reconstruction there, but now that we're done, has there been any conversation about that building there? Because that did come to planning commission. I believe we approved it. I'd have to go back and look. We went back.
I think the planning commission did, but yeah, there hasn't been any movement on that yet.
Okay. I know they have a lot
I think
in
that
the-
they're moving on, yeah,
They
because
have
they're
a lot
moving on
going
other projects.
Yeah, they've got the diamond, they've got this, they've got everything going on. So,
Yeah.
Just wondering.
I wish. Hopefully soon.
Councilman.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I want to speak to the neighborhood revitalization. I will have another local developers meeting, and those same local developers, when you gave me the land bank list, so for people that don't know, if properties that go to the tax sale, if they're not bought, they'll go into the land bank, and then it comes off the city tax roll and goes to the county, and a lot of them just sit there and go to blight. So those network of local developers, when you printed out and gave me that list of properties that could possibly go in there, I distributed that list out to all of those local developers that can, get those properties before they turn into blight and put them back on the tax roll. So they're already working on those. Kind of was waiting for the weather to break. So I'll give you some updates on that, and we'll talk some more on that.
Cool, thanks.
Down here. Yes, Councilwoman Wiggins.
Hi, Cassie. Thank you for that presentation. It was great, very informative. I just had a question about the Millard Street. You said that was going to be affordable housing?
The Millard Street, yep,
Yes.
that one's planned to be affordable housing also.
Okay, the whole thing or just a percentage?
The whole thing, and I think they were, for some of them, that one was planned to be a mix, up to 120 AMI.
Yes, Councilman.
Oh, no. Well,
Yes,
from
ma'am.
the last that I have, the last thing that I heard was making 80% or less, actually.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
I just had a comment, just want to say thanks, that's a great presentation, to see so much positive coming out of the city of Saginaw, and you guys and your team doing great work. We always hear so much negative, but we need to reinforce and market the positive that the city of Saginaw is doing. The housing, I know that it's scarce all over the state of Michigan, to see all these people putting money into the city of Saginaw, bringing it up. It's just awesome. I mean, I've seen Millard Street at its lowest, and I can't wait to see it finished. My aunt had a house right there, so I grew up kind of seeing it go down, and now I can't wait to see the positive changes moving forward, with the city. And then also, I know that one on Davenport is a lot of the senior low housing income. Is it correct?
I don't know if it's senior housing.
Did they change it now?
No.
Okay.
Senior is next door.
Next door to it. Okay, so
They
they're
just-
not. the
Oh,
owners.
yeah.
No.
The
Okay.
next door is the Housing Commission
Okay,
building.
okay, so that's clear, okay.
They're Davenport
I just thought
Manor.
maybe they were adding on, because I
No.
know like Lake, so, okay, so
No,
this is
they
new.
can't keep up what they got.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's good to hear. So just want to say thanks for that or whatever. Great information. That's all.
Councilwoman Hammond.
Thank you. I remember, is it Compassionate Care Network that was also the name of the organization looking into building? I remember it being lots of housing around the city of Saginaw, particularly on land bank properties. Do we have any updates on their efforts or what they're looking at?
They've purchased a number of lots. So Compassionate Care Network has built they actually haven't built any houses. They've renovated homes in Buena Vista. And they have purchased property in the northeast neighborhood of the city of Saginaw. They did get granted a my neighborhood grant through MISHDA to build a few new houses. I haven't been given the locations of those, I would assume in the northeast neighborhood.
Thank you.
And those, did I say, they do veteran housing?
Yes.
Yeah, to tack on to what you're talking about with compassionate care, they're working hand in hand with the Potter Street renovation stage. So they're looking at populating that neighborhood from
Yes.
the station to 675.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you. I should have brought that up. Jamie's still here.
Yeah, so that's.
They're working with stars.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
First Street.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
You don't have a question, Michael?
No, ma'am. I said let her go home.
Okay.
Sorry if I talk too long, I was trying to fast, I was speeding through it.
Mr. Manager, we're back in your hands. Any questions for? Do you have anything else, sir?
No, that concludes the management update.
Do we have any questions for the city manager? Yes, Councilwoman.
Thank you. So as was mentioned earlier, there's a lot of, during springtime, as the snow melts and all the blustery wind has blown in trash from everywhere, I get a lot of calls and a lot of messages, and I see a lot of posts about people trying to get groups together to clean up the city. And we have our amazing annual, Team Up to Clean Up event. But I was wondering, because we did allocate ARPA funds and renew contract for, I believe, it's Mr. Rabideau to do and use specialized city equipment for cleaning up the city. I think that's what so many people are looking for is the opportunity to have just a little bit of specialized equipment and someone to help them out with some of the big items. And we could really see an explosion and an expansion of, people cleaning up neighborhoods. So would it be possible to have like a public-facing schedule or an ability to essentially rent out this equipment and like adopt Mr. Rabideau with your organization if you want to sponsor it, to have these church groups and these people who want to come out and clean up, blocks of the city. But usually they're just missing the big trucks, the big dumpsters.
Yeah, so if we can coordinate with them, we can't rent equipment out because of the liability. But if they have something scheduled and we can fit it in, I think Alan would be willing to go out and assist with the grappling trucks and things like that. But also, if they let us know ahead of time, Phil Carwatt's staff will advise them, place all the bags in one place. We'll send trucks out later to pick them up so they can do that. I know we've helped organizations get trash bags and things like that. So if you know a group like that or you can direct them to, you can send them to the manager's office or through Cassie's office, and they can help coordinate that.
Would it be possible to have a promotion where we say, if you get together 10 or more people, like contact the city and we'll have this on just like something that's shareable? Because I think a lot of people might hop on that if it has a city seal on it, and it seemed like something that we're, approach us and we'll make it happen if you've got, 10 or more people.
Yeah, like a sign-up sheet per neighborhood. Yeah, we'll put that on the follow-up list to see.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you so much.
But if it's not broke, why are we trying to fix stuff?
No, I think it can be a benefit because it's, we have organizations that do this 1 week, 1 street does it, and we do send people out to work with them every year. But if we can better coordinate and help neighborhoods, we're all for that.
But you also have, I know I'm gonna get you. You also have Saginaw Foundation who works with the neighborhood associations. So if you have a neighborhood association in your neighborhood, you know that they provide up to $1,000 to help clean up.
Oh, we don't know that.
How are you not knowing?
We don't know that.
Well, we can help connect people to those
Councilman Ball.
programs too.
No, seriously, I didn't know.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Tim's gonna put it on the website. Oh, my question is, there's some, we got bags on Trina Street. Just want to let you know you can come pick those up.
Okay.
On Trina Street near the tracks.
You can get your $5 back now.
Trainer. Where is he? Because that could be a part of the investor. We gotta be careful.
No.
Remember? Because right there where Urban Department is Trainer Street too.
No, but this is right behind Sheridan Park. Right behind Sheridan Park.
Okay, I'm saying. Okay. So I'll give you Rapidu's number. You can call him here, pick up.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Madam Clerk.
That's right.
On to the consent agenda.
The agenda has been available, the agenda has been available on City Hall and on the city webpage. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, leaving room for exceptions.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second. Do we have any exceptions? Yes.
Number 13.
Are there any more exceptions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Item number 15 is to approve the contract with BKJ Construction for $116,798 for the 2026 ADA Sidewalk Ramp Project for the Public Services Department Engineering Division. That was Councilmember Hammond.
So I have $23,000 for professional services, purchase and renovation.
You said 13, correct?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry, I heard 15.
Could you please reread it?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Number 13 is to approve the purchase with Pinnacle Design for $23,299.95 for the professional services associated with the purchase and renovation of the superintendent's office for the Public Services Department Maintenance and Service Division. That was Councilmember Hammond.
So the nature of my question is just the phrasing of this. It says for the professional services associated with the purchase and renovation. So does the $23,000 purchase, is that actually paying for the painting, carpet, and office furniture? Or is it for professional services? Like what's?
It's both. So it's pretty much the architectural layout of what they're going to do and the carpet and the painting and to redesign, reconfigure it. So it's the professional services related to that and doing all the installation and providing the material.
Okay. So what is the nature of the construction that is being done to reconfigure the workspace?
Well, we got, I know we're going to do a window replacement over there. We got reconfiguration of some of the wall space. They're going to be getting new desk furniture, new luminaires. The original office spaces, I believe, from the original construction in the 1970s, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done over there. I mean, I have the individual quote, but it's pretty much doing a tear out and a complete redo of that entire office space. And it's a fairly large, it's probably the largest office in that.
How many feet?
Probably, I'm gonna say that office is probably, I'm gonna say 30 by 20 maybe, so you're probably somewhere 500-600 square feet.
So then for that, so does then the $23,000 include a comprehensive line item list of everything needed for that entire renovation, all the way to paint and
Yeah.
office furniture?
Yeah, and that's what I got in front of me. I mean, that's part of the bid, part of the Omni.
Would you mind sending that document to council at the meeting?
Yeah, I can get you for sure.
Thank you, I appreciate it. With that, I will motion to approve.
It's been moved in second. Any more discussion? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
On to board, commission, and committee reports.
Do we have any reports that we'd like to report? Okay. Madam Clerk.
On to ordinance introduction. We have one there. It's an ordinance to amend section 153-2.2 definitions, 153.31C3 special land uses, 153.31F2 permitted uses, and by adding new section 153-4.35 titled micro dwelling unit development of chapter 153 zoning code of title 15 land usage of the city of Saginaw Code of Ordinances O-204.
I need a motion. On this introduction.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes. Yeah, can we, is this making didn't allow them to make smaller lots? Or what?
This is not to make the lot smaller, it's to allow for homes to be between 400 square feet up to our minimum of 600 square feet. So really allows you to build a home down to 400 square feet.
Okay, that don't mean you can't build it on an existing lot or a house already, like somebody can put this in front of their house?
So we do allow accessory dwelling units as well, but this is separate from that.
Okay.
Yes, Councilwoman.
Thank you. So I've read this ordinance change. I also followed the process, which has been it's been over a year now of discussion at the Planning Commission concerning the idea of tiny homes. And from the beginning, I've been very concerned about the nature of the discussion back and forth, particularly between staff and the Planning Commission itself. There are several times when there were motions made by the Planning Commission that requested for zoning ordinance amendment regulations to change, but then the staff, what they would propose was, well, actually, we don't recommend making that change, which is not what the Planning Commission had voted on. And this led to a lot of delays by the end of this, and now what we have is a ordinance that does not allow any tiny home development in R1 or R2 that has a lot of regulations that I would describe as very prohibitive to the point of just making it actually impossible or completely unfeasible to construct tiny homes. And I don't think that was the initial intent from the Planning Commission, and I don't think that matches what I will say is my intent from council to improve the availability and diversity of housing. I think that this has taken a long time to get before council, and I think that the Planning Commission has been asking for more collaboration on this piece, and I think that I will be voting no on this ordinance change because unfortunately I think at this point I don't see it as a step in the right direction. Reading the back and forth, talking to some of the planning commissioners who had deep concerns and attending some of the meetings, and there had to be votes that were retaken, and so I think at this point this ordinance to me sends a mixed message about the attitude that City of Saginaw has when it comes to diverse housing types, when it comes to affordability. And I think also what it signals to me is I think it's time, I'm going to start working on a resolution specifically to define some of our affordable housing terminology, developing a shared language, and also something that can come before the council so we can unequivocally state that what we are in favor of in terms of promoting affordable housing and in terms of promoting diversity, and be able to, basically push past pressure from outside entities, push past some of the mixed messaging, and we don't yet have a shared language around diverse housing types and what affordable housing means in the City of Saginaw. So on this particular issue, this is something I do not currently support of this ordinance change, and what I would support is an opportunity to collaborate with the Planning Commission, either in a formalized setting or a coordinated work group setting, to be able to better develop an idea that matches what I think would be truly supportive of diverse housing types, of tiny home opportunities.
I need to say this because when we talk about zoning, the strategic plan, when we talk about anything, I need the citizens to understand, because you can get caught up in jargon and a lot of smoke. Everything is ongoing. It can change. Nothing is edged in stone. I sit on the Planning Commission, and I also know that when some decisions were made, people weren't comfortable. But again, the majority rules, and we said it is a work in progress. So you can go back in and rework stuff. We've got a motion on the floor. I support it. And because anytime you give me, I can come back. Tiny houses, there was a lot of discrepancy in tiny houses with the staff and with the whole board, and we all were confused. And then we got an eye-opener, or I should say, we started researching it more. And we just found it was the commission who said, you can't just put a tiny house anywhere. That's just not right. Staff said it. We didn't want to believe it, but then we started looking and we said we can't do it. So I need everybody to understand that a lot of this stuff that we're talking about is not edged in stone. It can be reworked and you gotta come in front of the planning commission, zoning. So everything is not where this is how it's gonna be, council has approved it. No, it's not. So I just need to say that. Anybody else want to say something? Yes, Councilman.
Yeah, because I'm on the planning commission with the mayor as well, and even it came out in some of our meetings that nobody's even asked for a tiny house yet. It's not even come to the city. It was an idea of one of the commissioners that wanted to talk about it, wanted to put something forward, and that's kind of how we went back and forth for so long. I will say, though, that during the meetings, the reason why the R3, R4, the zoning that we picked was because they're going to be, it's like a cluster. So it's not where it's just going to be a house on a block. It's going to be more of a small home neighborhood. You can think of, I saw this when I was in California. They've got, it's on Venice Beach, where you've got just a sidewalk and then you've got your homes on both sides. They're not tiny homes, of course, but it's kind of that concept, what we saw in our head. And then the commissioners kind of said, well, this is something that we could see how it goes. And then if we want to, we just come back and we change it to R1, R2. So the other thing that happened here in R1, R2 is, let's take, my neighborhood used to be R1 and R2. It's now MU1, mixed use. But even if you go over to, say, on the west side of the city, or even other parts of the east side of the city, you're going to take, who knows what home is on that block, and you're going to slap a 400 square foot home, and your neighbors are going to throw a fit, because it does not match what's on that street. And then there was a concern of, well, is it going to devalue the homes that are there because these are being built? There was a lot of discussion why we got to where we were and why we landed where we landed. And so even if we look at R1 and R2, residential 1, residential 2 for the folks, because we're talking acronyms here, that home is going to have to match a spatial relationship of a certain amount of feet around that house so that it looks like what's on that block. And so this is not a done deal. And we're trying to encourage a developer to come in and create the cluster, and then we can move on from there. So this is a little more of what we talked about. Am I right? Did I get it wrong?
Just one correction, that it would allow for an individual home, but exactly like how you're saying, where it has to meet the character of the neighborhood. Can't be a super stark
I just
difference.
have a question for clarity. So micro dwellings, tiny homes are not for R1 and R2, meaning the regular neighborhood, they can't be plopped anywhere. And R4 means they have to be in a cluster, or if it goes in the resident, it has to match what's there already. Is that what?
Yes, currently in this.
Okay.
Yep, we're starting small, and then we can expand it out.
Because that was, I seen the communities, and they do look well when it's a cluster, when the blocks look, it does not look well if it's just allowed to be a tiny home placed in. So I do agree with that part. That was my concern, in making sure that it was a community, because that looks right, so I just wanted to make sure that was, okay, thank you.
Yes, Councilwoman.
Thank you. So to clarify, in consideration, if I was a developer and I wanted to, under this ordinance, create a cluster community of tiny homes, where would I be able to build them?
In either an R3 or a MU1 district.
Okay, I don't support that. Cluster communities, the whole point of having a cluster community is to match the character of an R1 and R2 neighborhood. So again, I really support cluster communities. That's something I've popped as a term for a long time. I've seen them work, I've seen them be developed. But R3, I think you're limiting to a specific section of the city, and you're also limiting to a much smaller land use area of R1 and R2. There's plenty of space in R1, R2. So again, looking through the reasoning that the staff provided for why we couldn't have R1 and R2 point of order. sidebar discussions are not allowed under Robert's Rules of Order. And I know for a fact that it's very distracting when people are watching this online, and you can hear whispering, you can hear all of that. I will. So my greatest concern with this particular ordinance is that there is so much lost in translation between the year of discussions happening on tiny homes. And I don't think that this necessarily captures the, it's not, I don't think it's capturing the desired density that the city seeks to achieve, which number 3 on this consideration talked about, you know, putting smaller homes decreases the desired density the city seeks to achieve. I don't know what the desired density of the city is. So I think that in these arguments, watching the Planning Commission's meeting, it's important to understand, and I wanted to state very clearly that I did not appreciate how this conversation was handled, particularly on the staff side, when it came to taking comments back and forth between commissioners and then presenting results, presenting research, presenting identifications. I think there are plenty of experts, and I do not agree with some of the comments made by commissioners about what they wanted and some of the concerns shared at this table. I said, exactly. However, I don't think that this ordinance reflects what I want to see or how I think tiny homes are going to happen. I've had dozens of both developers and charity groups contact me about, can somebody build tiny homes in the city? When are we doing it? How can we do it? We'll donate materials. We'll donate labor. We'll make it happen. Because people know we have a homelessness issue. People know we have an affordability issue. People know we want to work on it together. So I've been very concerned by the mixed messaging that this ordinance puts out. And I think that the reason why we haven't had any developers approach us about building tiny homes is that it's not allowable in most of the city, or any of the city. And if you just restrict it to R3, I mean, I would approve cluster communities only as to start, but in R1, R2, and R3, or at least in R2 and R3.
Yes.
Can I call for the vote, please?
Yes, can.
Thank you.
Do we have a second?
Second. Support.
Ms. Chris?
I'm sorry, who had the second? It was quiet. Thank you. You're gonna take your vote on call.
So,
Take your vote on the call, and then we'll do a roll call on the call if
okay,
we have to.
we're taking it on the call. There was a motion on the floor to call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Now take your vote on your motion to approve the intro.
So we go back to the original motion. The motion to introduce this ordinance. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Young.
Aye.
Councilmember Seals.
Aye.
Councilmember Balls.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Aye.
Councilmember Ostash.
Aye.
Councilmember Braddock.
Aye.
Councilmember Wiggins. I'm sorry.
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond.
Nay.
And Mayor Moore.
Aye.
You have 8 yes and 1 no. That motion to introduce is approved. That motion, or the ordinance will be laid over. for
This
charter
ordinance will be
provisions.
laid over per our charter provision. Madam Clerk.
On to ordinance adoption. We have one there as well. It's to amend the official city map to rezone Lot 9, west 30 feet of Lot 10, including adjacent vacated alley, Block 1, South Remington's addition, Lot 9, excluding west 70 feet, Block 2, South Remington's addition, also west half of vacated adjacent alley, Lot 10, excluding west 30 feet, Block 1, South Remington's addition, west 70 feet of Block 9, Block 2, South Remington's addition from R1, low-density residential, to B1, neighborhood business.
That was a mouthful. I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, can you tell me exactly what it said? Just
Okay, let's call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
On to resolutions. Our first is adopting MDOT Cost Agreement 26-5156 Perkins Street reconstruction.
So moved.
I need a motion to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify nay. Madam
Our
Clerk.
second resolution is adopting a final project plan document amendment for wastewater system improvements and designating an authorized project representative.
So moved.
I need a motion to adopt. You gotta give me time to say it. Who seconded? It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Yes.
I had a question because the presentation and the materials presented before council in the community were way too jargonous. I don't even know if jargonous is a word, but that's what I'm going to go with. I don't think it was briefly mentioned that that was an amendment to a previous decision that we had made. So I guess I just had like question marks all over my notes. Can anyone just briefly tell me the nature of the revision? Are there increased costs associated? Because I had things like, there are a bunch of abbreviations that I didn't understand. I don't know where the location is of the proposed amended improvement and briefly why it's needed.
Start with why it's needed. Right now, the big driver and the big mystery we have is sludge disposal. Right now, we lime stabilize and send that to the farm fields. That's great, except that we're paying to haul water. That's a significant cost. Diesel's gone nuts. You guys will see our budget for our sludge hauling cost is going up a lot. That's prompted the, hey, we need to do something different with our sludge. That's the change. We thought we could, we were trying to wait out PFAS regulations and some other regulations, but I'm gonna starve to death if we don't make some sort of move in sludge. Go back to the engineers and staff, spent a lot of time at looking at different options, and that's what we're looking at. Some of the jargon is handed to us because since we're inside the SRF process, we literally have formats that we have to go down on. But I'd be happy to clear up any of the jargony type stuff.
I was just wondering what the location is of the systems that you were looking at.
At the wastewater treatment plant.
So I wasn't sure of a scale. Is it like just a few pieces of equipment?
Oh, yeah, no, we're talking a little building-ish. It would not be substantial.
Okay. And was the number that I saw 26 million of an adjustment?
28, 29.
$29 million of an adjustment to the state water revolving loan fund application?
Yes.
Of an increase?
Yes.
Will that potentially hurt our chances of getting that?
The dollars don't hurt as much as what the forgiveness will be. And that's a roll of the dice. We won't know that until we file the application and we're awarded enough points, which we work hard at scoring enough points. At that point in time, then we can evaluate, hey, does this make sense for us to take?
Yeah.
And then we come to you guys and make that
Because that was my
ask.
immediate question on switching to the solid waste disposal because of those PFAS regulations.
It's still I get in trouble with the state when I call it an interim step, but it still is a half a step. This would put us in a place that we could start looking at other options for our solids. We could landfill. We could talk about incineration. We could talk about doing some sort of secondary digestion. We can play around with some other things at that point in time. But right now, this is a move to try to get the amount of solids down and then get the water down.
Do you Thank you. And do you happen to know, and I appreciate you letting me kind of move this quickly, do you happen to have any projections on the savings over time for switching to solid wastes? And I assume it just transportation is obviously one of the biggest things, and then also the vendors who will accept solid versus
Well, right, yeah, and
sludge.
then right now we have one sledge hauler in the state of Michigan. So we have no option. I mean, we could throw out a bid. They've talked about bringing somebody else in, but right now we have one that has us by the short hairs.
All right, well, I really appreciate the explanation. Thank you so much. Feel free to record yourself and do videos in the future too for a presentation, because he's really
Okay, we have any more questions? Any more questions? No more questions? Calling for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Madam Clerk,
Takes us to miscellaneous business.
I need a motion. I need a motion to go into closed session.
Do that
What?
last, Mayor.
Oh, okay, we got the first one to do. Okay.
Okay, I need a motion to clarify the direction to staff to prepare and bring forward at the appropriate time a resolution to place a charter amendment eliminating the dollar cap on the November ballot.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Yes.
Would you please read the motion one more time?
Yep. I'll read it louder. Motion to clarify the direction to staff to prepare and bring forward at the appropriate time a resolution to place a charter amendment eliminating the dollar cap on the November ballot.
Remember, there
Got
are
it?
two. There are
Did you hear
two.
that, Tom?
Any other questions?
I'm good.
Does everybody understand? Let me clarify it. Last meeting, there was a general statement. There is two parts to this. What we're saying is that we're looking at the tax cap part, not trying to pass a double millage. A tax cap and the millage. Okay? Did I explain it right?
No.
What we are having tonight is a clarification that
but-
we are, council's asking for staff to develop language to remove the dollar cap portion of the tax cap, not the
Thank
entire
you.
tax cap. Which I think was the intention, but it wasn't specific in that
specific.
last resolution.
Yes.
So I have a question mostly for the city attorney, and if this is something to email later and research, that's fine. But I know that as council is talking about, where we are directing staff and in the process of adopting via the council process an amendment to the charter that will go to the voters, at what point do we have to be concerned about imposing limits on our own speech regarding advocating for something that's going to be on the ballot that we ourselves put there? Because does that get into using public offices to promote things? I know when it comes to millages and things, it gets complicated with charter amendments and public officials. Is there anything you can tell us right now about that as we're planning, public events and things?
There's a campaign finance opinion that I believe is a part of every council member's notebook that the clerk provides. So that provides a lot of the information on the particular campaign finance rules that would apply. But the short of it is that as public officials or public employees, we can't use city resources, anything from copying to even sitting here in council meetings, because everybody's being paid, to advocate for a particular ballot proposal. We can put out factual information, and I believe we already have to some degree, and there's information on the website. But what you do on your individual time,
I appreciate
that's
that.
yours.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Did I get a second?
You did. You got another one.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Now, I need a motion to go into closed session.
Can we have it read the way it's scripted?
I'm sorry, we have to
Someone
read.
needs to read it the way it's scripted.
I move to enter.
Hold
closed
on.
session.
I'm,
She was right. Yep.
she was right.
Yep, she's carrying on with the motion.
Come on.
I move to enter closed session to discuss pending litigation and DBM Utilities, Inc. versus City of Saginaw per MCL 15.268E.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been second. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Young.
Aye.
Councilmember Seals.
Aye.
Councilmember Balls?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Aye.
Councilmember Ostache?
Aye.
Councilmember Braddock?
Aye.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond?
Aye.
And Mayor Moore.
Aye.
You have 9 yes. We will enter closed session at 9:09.
Madam Clerk,
You're still under miscellaneous business.
we're still under miscellaneous business. Would like
I move
make
to
a motion.
approve the legal recommendation as discussed in closed session regarding the DMV Utilities, Inc. pending litigation.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk,
Still under miscellaneous business.
we're still under miscellaneous business. Do we have any? Thank you, sirs. Do we have
Recommendation
any?
motion to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay.